All right, let's take a look at one of the problems we worked out in class today. And it said 2/5 x plus a fourth plus x over 10 plus 1/8. And we're going to look for the least common multiple because we're going to do clearing the fractions so that it'll be a little bit simpler to deal without the fractions. So in class we found that the least common multiple of 5, 4, 10, and 8 was 40. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by the least common multiple, which is 40, and that's going to clear the fractions. Now instead of doing 40, I'm going to do 40 over 1 just because it'll make the multiplying by fractions easier. So that's what's happening right here. We're going to clear the fractions, and we're going to multiply both sides by 40 over 1. So anything we do to the left side, we need to do to the right side of the equation. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and distribute that 40 through on the left side. And then also on the right side. And then what we'll do is we'll start doing some cross-canceling. 5 goes into 5 once, into 40 8 times. And then what we have is 8 times 2, which is 16 plus the x there, so that's going to give us a 16x. For the next piece, the 4 is going to go into 4 once, into 40 10 times, and we'll have 10 times 1, which is 10. Okay, so that takes care of the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, 10 goes into 10 once and into 40 4 times. And what we have left is a 4 and an x, so we have 4x. And for the last piece, 8 goes into 8 once, into 40 5 times. Now in blue here we have an equation without fractions, and we have the variable on both sides. So you have choices, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all the numbers onto the right side, and then we want all the variables on the left side. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides, and also subtract 4x from both sides. So what the subtracting 10 does is it's going to get rid of the 10 on the left. What the subtracting the 4x does is it's going to get rid of the 4x on the right. So on the left we'll have 16x minus 4x, which is 12x, and then on the right we will have negative 5. After that, the 12 is attached to the x by multiplication, so we'll divide both sides by 12, and we get an answer of negative 5 over 12. Okay. We're going to look at another example. I think this one's slightly different than the one we did in class. Everything is identical, but I think at the very end here, the 5 over 4, I think in class we did one where it was a negative 5 over 4. So the process is identical, we just get a slightly different answer at the end. Again, what we'd like to do is to clear the fractions. So we have denominators of 4, 2, and 4. So the least common multiple is going to be 4. So what we'll do is we'll multiply both sides of the equation by 4 over 1 to clear the fractions. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and simplify that because there's not a whole lot to do on the right-hand side. The 4s will cancel and we'll just be left with 5. It's the left-hand side that we'll have to do a little bit more work with doing the distributive property. Okay. And in class we mentioned this about putting these parentheses around the numerators, the top parts of the fraction, because when I'm multiplying the 4, I'm multiplying it times the top parts of the fractions. And if I'm going to multiply by the top parts of the fractions, I need to make sure I'm using the distributive property there. So that's why I put those parentheses in. Now we'll go ahead and and do some cross canceling. So the 4's will cancel out, and then for that first term, and we will be left with a 3x minus 1. On the second one, the 2 goes into 2 ones, 2 goes into 4 twice, so we'll have plus 2 times 9x plus 4 equals 5. And then we'll go ahead and do the distributive property. So what I did here is I put I kept the parentheses there. We don't really need them because I'm not distributing anything other than 1 times the 3x and 1 times the minus 1. That's not going to change anything. So I didn't really need to put the parentheses there, but I did put them there. And then for the next step, I can go ahead and drop them. They were just there for decoration. The other parentheses are important because I'm distributing that 2 through. So they are important there. And now what I want to do is I want to collect my like terms here. So I have a 3 and an 18x. So that's going to combine together to give me a 21x. And then I combine the constants, the negative 1 and 8 will make a 7. That's equal to 5. Okay, at this point in time, that positive 7 is attached by addition. So we're going to go ahead and subtract it. And because I'm out of room, I'm just going to come up here and rewrite 21x equals, and 5 minus 7 is negative 2. And the last thing to do is we're going to go ahead and divide by 21 on both sides. So divide by 21, divide by 21, and that is our answer. X equals negative 2 over 21. Okay. So we got a little bit different answer in the problem we did in class, just because the original problem was slightly different. Process is identical. Okay. We're going to look at one more. And this was solving for y, or writing in the form y equals mx plus b. And our equation was, I think this is the same one we used in class. It might be slightly different. I can't remember exactly what it was. So we have y plus 1 equals negative 1/5 x times the quantity x minus 4. So what we're going to do first is we're going to use the distributive property. We're going to distribute. And let's see what we got here. Okay. The left-hand side is unchanged. It's still y plus 1. But on the right, we went ahead and did negative 1/5 times the x to give us negative 1/5 x, and then negative 1/5 times negative 4. The negatives cancel, and we just have 4/5. Okay, so I think what you liked a little bit better in class is if we just subtracted 1 from both sides as opposed to subtracting 5 over 5. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're almost done. We want to isolate the y here. So we're going to get rid of the 1, and the 1 is attached by addition. So we'll subtract 1 from both sides. Okay. So y equals negative 1/5 x plus 4/5 minus 1. And I have like terms here, the 4/5 and the 1 over 1. I changed it to 1 over 1 because I need common denominator here, which is going to be 5. So we're going to multiply the 1 over 1 by 5 over 5. And we will combine those like terms. So writing everything else as is. So we have y equals negative 1/5 x. And then if we did the, let's see if I can write with negative, 4 over 5 minus 5 over 5. That's going to equal the negative 1 over 5. So that's where that came from. I'll see if I can draw that in there. All right.